Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about no, not Risley, no, not Furina, but a character that in my opinion, and honestly, statistically, people care more about is on the horizon. Now, next patch, don't think so. The patch after that, maybe. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the next revolutionary character. And I say revolutionary not loosely, because to this meta or this playstyle, this character might as well be the end all be all. Who am I talking about? Pause the video, comment down below in 3 seconds. 3, 1, 2, Navia. Navia is going to be the next revolutionary character. Now, hold your horses. People will be like, Walrus, you've gone and lost your mind, right? You're saying Navia is more important than Furina. How the hell can that happen? Let me ask you this question. How dire is the hydro element if Furina does not exist? Let's just say Furina, deleted from the game, never gonna come. How much does that affect how you play the hydro element or other elements that require hydro, right? The hydro synergies haven't lost anything. Furina's arrival is not bringing much news to the hydro element, nor the state of the meta. Sure, you can probably use her with NEUVILLETTE, Risley, and likely more characters in the future that are coming out of Fontaine. But the fact that Furina herself doesn't really change the game that much should tell you that, hey, when it comes to the hierarchy of how important a character's existence is, Furina's probably isn't very high. Now, why am I saying Navia is very important? Now, if you've been watching my content, I've been saying that crystallize is a busted ass reaction way back, like ever since I first started making videos pretty much. So throughout the years, I've already mentioned that there's many ways to revitalize crystallize. There are many possible directions you can take this reaction, and Hoyoverse has done none of it. So then I left the discussion alone until I saw what they did with NILOU. Now, SUPERBLOOM, which is a unique mechanic to NILOU, is something that could exist outside of just bloom, right? So take that concept and put it into crystallize. What the hell could super crystallize be? Now, am I saying that's what Navia is doing? No, but you have got to be out of your damn mind to tell me that Geo and crystallize are in a perfect state right now, meaning no need for changes, no need for adjustments. Navia should just be another hyper carry in the Geo element alternative to Ito, right? I don't think that continuing to make hyper carries for Geo or dedicated supports for Geo is going to solve the problem for this element. Now, looking at an element that is of the equivalent to Geo, which is Anemo. Anemo, since the beginning of the game, has found its place in the game, being an elemental shredding reaction through viridescence. Now, if you're gonna ask me, Walrus, then why did it take Hoyoverse so damn long to come up with something for Geo? Well, don't ask me, because I have no freaking clue, and I still don't even know if Navia is that character. Is Hoyoverse planning to eventually revitalize crystallize? They better have it somewhere in their agenda. Why? Because at this point, I'm pretty confident in saying that if you release another Geo hypercarry, there's not going to be much heat behind this character. When you have a game that has 4 unique slots that are supposed to be filled by characters that are supposed to work with each other, then you have an element that supposedly doesn't work with any other element. You kind of get stuck in a place where, well, if you want to play this element, you have to have 4 characters of this element. And when it comes to team compositions, then yes, you have a hyper carry, you have a unique support, which requires C6, by the way, to fully access their unique Geo supportive capabilities. It's a bit on the nose when it comes to what Hoyoverse is really after, right? It's just money. They want you to dump a bunch of money if you want to play Geo. Now, look at what Fontaine is doing, right? They've again risen the stat line. All these Fontaine characters are incredibly strong, super well designed, and guess what? Their C6s are also out of this damn world right now. So if you're gonna release another Geo hypercarry, like just theoretically, right? Oh, Navia is not gonna have anything to do with crystallize. She's another Geo hypercarry. Hypothetically, just think about that. How busted would this Geo hypercarry have to be for her to rival the popularity or the strength of these other characters? Now, before you guys say, Walrus, strength doesn't matter, right? As long as she's cute cute, she's part of the story, people are gonna love her. Well, tell that to the Dia mains, because quite frankly, stats do matter, performance do matter. And if Navia is a Geo hypercarry, I am sorry, but say goodbye to Ito, because here comes the next big power creep. Because for her to be able to stand alongside the Fontaine characters in terms of scaling, in terms of potential, she has to be significantly stronger than what currently Ito is capable of. And remember, Ito's entire kit from C1 all the way to C6 is an upgrade from Zhao's constellations. Now, characters aside, right? Ito and Zhao at C0, you could argue they both have their strength. But once you get Ito to C6 and then Zhao to C6, you can clearly see the difference in design concept and quality of life. So now fast forward to Navia. This is why I keep saying, don't go down the road of power creeping Ito. Ito exists in a perfect state right now, but he already kind of is an upgrade from Zhao. So you don't want to go down that road. Trust me, with hypercarries. Hypercarries are damn expensive to invest into. Not only do you have to pull them C6 to fully access their kit, but you also have to pull their support to C6. Make Navia the Geo crystallized character that changes and revitalizes its playstyle. Think about it like this. With the arrival of Navia, you can kickstart an entire new reaction meta, the crystallized meta. So before people start saying, Walrus, you're just talking out of your ass, just think about it. From a business perspective, from a player's perspective, it's a win-win situation. Hoyoverse doesn't need to rework crystallize. They just need to make a character that gives it a little bit of a boost. Incentivize players to actually play this reaction. And all the other Geo characters suddenly have uses. Look at Albedo. Albedo suddenly have a use other than just being a background support DPS. Actually being able to use crystallize in that giant ass field of his is going to make old characters feel new again. It's going to incentivize people to invest into a whole other type of playstyle, a whole other meta is going to be born, all revolving around Navia. Now, before you guys again become skeptical and say, Walrus, one character cannot do that, look at NILOU. Look what NILOU was able to do for Bloom. Outside of NILOU, Bloom, yes, it's strong, but nowadays it's either Hyper Bloom or Super Bloom. And oftentimes, Super Bloom is such a great option for newbies that it's become almost a default recommendation, at least over here in China, when people first get into the game. It's like, hey, what's the best team I can get? Well, if NILOU is around, get NILOU, because she works with some of the best free-to-play characters in the game and she is able to dominate the spiral business. Now, why not do the same thing for crystallize? Crystallize, maybe in the hands of Navia, could offer better shields, more durable shields, more consistent shields, aura shred, depending on which element is infused with it. And on top of that, maybe shields can do damage. Maybe they can explode when they expire. Maybe shields can stack. I don't know. But we have got to stop pushing the narrative for Geo to be this one singular hypercarry playstyle. Navia is likely going to be a DPS character. It seems like that's the trend right now in Fontaine. There's more and more damage. They have damage for Cryo. They have damage for Hydro. They're going to have damage likely for Electro and also Geo. And with the light and dark system plus the Hydro Archon, I imagine a lot of these Fontaine characters are going to be cracked through the roof. And you really, really don't want Geo to be left behind again, because for the entirety of Sumeru, Geo pretty much didn't exist at all. Now we're in Fontaine, and then you're just gonna go back to the old style, be like, oh, here's another hyper carry. I don't think that's what players are looking for. You know that's not what players are looking for, Hoyoverse. You can do better. I know you have it in the books, and honestly, this could be the start of something amazing. I would love to go back to playing some Geo characters. I have all of them sitting in my storage, so please, please, please make it happen. Thank you so much in advance. And people, comment down below, do you want Navia to be a hyper carry, or do you want her to be something that revitalizes crystallize? And again, till next time, urge y'all to stay safe. Peace, peace. Bye-bye.